Welcome to the Worst Damn Crypto Show, period. I'm your host, Pepito. And today I got with me Allan, Fils-Aime, and Humble D Crypto. What's up, guys? How's it going?
Excellent, excellent.
Finally got the intro right. The last couple times I messed it up.
Yo,
We
Terrapin's
did
in the
it.
chat.
Success. What's up? What's up? He's at work right now. Frogs in the chat, everybody. Frogs in the chat.
Oh man,
Oh,
everyone's
man.
inner degen coming out.
Yeah, so what do you... PULSECHAIN TestNet V4? I haven't touched it. I'm probably not going to. Yeah, just waiting on that mainnet. It looks like we're a couple weeks away, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know what else he needs to do. Do you guys know what else needs to get done? I mean, it was just like validator
Humble D.
upgrades that they did on their fees. They're gonna get paid more.
They just gotta apply the update from Ethereum for the wow, my brain just went blank. Where they're able to release the pulse chain from the validator, so you can withdraw them. Yeah, Shanghai. Thank you.
Shanghai. Yep. Yeah, that's the last thing I heard. There was a developer, I think I forget who, tweeted out saying that they probably needed to implement that update, and it was maybe 2 to 3 weeks, something like that. And they're probably just going to fine tune everything at that point. I mean, they went ahead and rolled out on testnet V4 the farming, the LP farms, which is phenomenal, by the way. This morning, I think they released the incentive token and PLSX LP farming. That was at 30,000 APR. It was insane. So, you know, if you're going to be doing this kind of stuff and during launch, I think you should really keep an eye out. You're going to have to be glued to your computer to catch all these farms if that's what you're going to be doing. Because, I mean, you can really benefit off the bat, especially with, you know, something that's within the ecosystem, with the incentivized pools anyway. So, you know, I mean, they have some pretty good APRs right now. PLS and PLSX 300, TDI, PLS 1500, the incentive PLS and incentive PLSX, both at 5,000% APR. Fantastic. I hope those are real numbers going into mainnet.
Yeah, I think there'll be more liquidity on mainnet, so those numbers should go down. But if you're there early, you can get wrecked too. So you just got to hold, right? So if you get ratioed out, or like, or they call it what, impermanent loss, the words everyone uses. But then, you know, if you hold it over time and you think the ratios would even back out, like if you're LPing PLSX and PLS, right? And then, you know, you get in at a 2-to-1 or something, and it goes to the 3-to-1, and you just hold the whole time, you'll be all right. If it goes back down to a 2-to-1. I don't know. I don't liquidity provide right now, so I'm probably not gonna get involved. Maybe with a little bit of my bag, and I'll do it later on when I can get in at a better ratio between what I would think is a better ratio. But what the heck? I'll be in the spaces asking famous, like, should I go in now? What do you think? But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm doing. As far as LPing, I'm staying away.
It's going to come down to those that want to see money being earned every day in yield versus those that are like, I know better, right? So there's going to be those that don't care if they're going to be losing value over time by providing for the LP, but they're happy to show that they're earning a daily yield. But then you got those that know, unless you're in there for, you get in at the right point and you're in there for a longer period of time, where it's actually going to be less of a loss depending on what you're using. You know, if it's versus DAI or USDC or you know, the liquid loans or the PULSEX stablecoin, it's a little bit different there, but yeah, mainly that's what you see in liquidity providers. Those that are like, yes, I'm getting a daily, I'm earning $10 on my $100 worth of liquidity every 2 days, but they just lost like $100, right, in value. but they're still happy. But then you got the other ones that are like, well, I'm not going to provide the LP because I'd rather have that extra $100 of value, right? So.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I never mess around with the pools whenever there's a stable coin in place. I just go with either the coin, like in this instance, going to be PULSECHAIN, and it's going to be another RH asset that I know is going to appreciate over time. Because, like Dan mentioned, like if you get out ratioed, all you really have to do is hold. And in the meantime, since you're in a V2 pool anyway, you're going to be earning fees, maybe not at the same rate that you should if it's 1-to-1 or close in ratio, but eventually it's going to even out. So whenever you want to take your profits or take it out, all you got to really do is figure out which asset it is that you want to maybe sell, if that's what you're looking to do, or you've accumulated more of the asset that you wanted because you see a future price increase in that asset. I mean, fairly simple stuff, I think, in my opinion, to not get wrecked. Or and if you do and find yourself in a sticky situation, just now you got to pay with time in order to get to where you want. You're muted.
Yeah, you're muted.
That's why all the liquidity providers for Pepe coin are all centralized exchanges, because nobody's crazy enough to provide liquidity.
I mean, yeah, I'm not touching Pepe, although my hands are tingling.
Not yet.
Not yet. Hold, boys, hold.
Wait till we lose a zero.
Then you FOMO in, and then you get wrecked. That's what'll happen. That's exactly what happens every single time.
I wonder if this is the only stream on Pepe. If there's
Yes.
any other ones out there.
No.
We're the
This is
first
it.
one.
This is it.
First idiots to do it.
Nah, I'm not buying it, but you can stream about it.
Yeah, this is not financial advice, guys. Seriously.
Yeah, just so you know, you guys,
Psych.
Pepe is just a newer version of Pepe coin. They're trying to roll on Pepe's momentum.
I mean, it's big, man. What is Ivan on TechSell? Morealis software, whatever. According to his software, it's like #1 across the board, whatever he was researching in there, making it do. But I don't know. It's there's a lot of people talking about it. So we'll see what happens.
What memes do. Go viral.
Could just be could be gone next week, and we might do the show next week, and it's gone. But I mean, I'm riding it to zero, so it is what it is.
Oh man, yeah. You guys are tempting
It's
me.
like what's 6 zeros 2865 on the way to zero?
You're not wrong. Yeah, I mean, you got some, right, Dan?
I did get some today.
You
Yes,
got some? Okay.
I got
All right.
a little,
Rest in
just
peace.
a little bit, just to be in it, just to meme with the boys,
I feel you.
Hopefully, we can make some good memes out of it for Hex, and we can infiltrate their community a little bit and steal some plebs.
So what you're saying is you're 80% Hex, 15% of the rest of the Hex ecosystem, and then you're just 5% tadpole, just a tadpole, right?
Let me do the math. It's less than 5%. It's probably less than 1%.
Oh, you missed it. It went over your head. You're mostly Hex ecosystem, but just a tadpole, right?
Oh, yes. Got it.
Nice. So every community with the meme coin, right? For the most part, they always have that target. Like, oh, Dogecoin was like, oh, we're gonna hit a penny, and then like we're gonna hit $1. Who knows what the heck Shiba Inu is? What are the community members saying? Like, oh, we're gonna get to what? Like 20 zeros and a 1, or how many zeros this has? 7, 8, 100?
I haven't
but
been
when
in
I
the
look,
community long enough. I think we're 7 days old. I listened to one space yesterday, but
This guy, we're seven. Okay, cool. Yeah, you really are all in.
my name is Pepito now. Nah, I mean, I listened to one space yesterday. They were just shilling it. It's like, come on, guys, let's go. This is the meme of this is DeFi. This is the meme of this bear market, this bull market. You know, we had that Shiba Inu last time, but this is better. Like, let's go, guys. I'm just like, oh my god, we're on 5 exchanges. Jesus Christ. But the frog does go hard, and the memes are
The frog.
pretty freaking nice that they're doing. They're pretty funny. So, for what it's worth.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, their web. I'm looking at their website. They said the what is it?
Oh, they got a
93.
website.
Oh, they got a website, dude. It's dope.
Oh, let's go.
Pepe.vip.
Oh man,
Token supply 420 trillion, 690 billion tokens. That's insane. That's a lot
even
of
the
tokens.
supplies of the meme,
Yeah,
420
426.90.
baby.
Yeah. But they're saying that the contract is renounced, all the good stuff, all the things that all the meme coins say. So hopefully they don't rug on their community, and some people can take some of those profits and do something good with it somewhere. If they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it. You know.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the 99% drop to buy more.
Yeah, Hexiquin's
Oh
going
god,
hard in the chat. Jesus.
what? She's hating on me?
She's hating on, I think, me. Calling me a poser. Calling someone a poser. So is this strictly a Pepe stream, or are we going to hit a few points along the way?
No, I think we could talk about some HSIs. There were some deals I think 3 days ago. I didn't participate over the weekend. Friday to Saturday. I'm pretty sure it was Saturday. People got like 80 to 90% off. There was a guy streaming it. Forget his name. Crispy
Oh
Man
yeah,
or something.
yep. Crispy did one. Yeah, he did a live on that.
So yeah, there's still deals going on, but right now I'm just waiting for PulseChain to use up my HEDRON on Pulse right away, hopefully.
So you're getting rid of your HEDRON?
Well, from what I hear, man, there's what, like 3,000 HSIs. So from what I hear, they're all just gonna be started at once, and then it's just gonna be a free for all.
Oof. All right.
We'll see what happens, but yeah.
I was trying to figure out.
Kidding.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Humble.
no, I'm ready. I mean, yeah, I participated in auctions that was that yesterday or the day before, and man, I was getting frustrated because I couldn't win any of the first rounds, the smaller ones. But fortunately, I spent between $4,000 and $5,000 and won a 50 T-share one worth of HEDRON. So yeah, I mean, I remember coming
He's
in.
happy.
I came into the
Congrats.
ecosystem and I was like, man, I wish I could get 10 T-shares when it was up high,
Yeah.
But man, this ICOSA system was like setting me up so well. I mean,
yeah, no, for real. Like I think you're right. Oh, we're losing him. Humble, we're losing you, bro.
Yeah, he
I was
had some
listening to
trouble
you.
earlier.
Am I still getting?
Oh, it's just
Yeah,
a
if you
lag.
want to take the camera off, you should be less laggy for sure.
Oh, okay.
Dan, you just wanted to be the only one on cam. That's all.
No, that's not true. Come on.
Like, keep my sexy self on. Take everybody else out. All
Yes,
right.
yes.
I
I am sexy.
Yeah,
Yes.
but
Tell me more. Tell me more how I'm
if
sexy.
you don't have any problems with 15-year stakes, man, or even a 7.5-year stake, right? Why wouldn't you spend the money to pay only 20% of an actual HEX and a better T-share rate, right? So I mean, at worst, if somebody I don't think of it this way, but you can be like, okay, at 7.5 years, I can get the principal back, right? So you're paying 20% on that principle of what it really is worth today, right? But plus they're getting a better T-share rate. Now you can wait 15 years if you want and get, or, you know, gain a percentage of whatever the, you know, yield is as time goes on. Or you can be like me, for instance. I'm like, I believe that there's going to be a DApp that's going to say, hey, tokenize your HSI. We'll hold them here, just kind of like with Aave, and you can take loans out against them. You know, I think that's going to happen. So I'm okay with buying HSIs up, because why not? I mean, at worst, I can wait 7.5 years, right? Which that'd be stupid. At that time, Hex is going to be so big, and T-share is going to be so well known. You're going to be like, why would I give up this T-share, right? So it's just, to me, it's a win-win. If you're young, why aren't you buying HSIs, right? Because you're nuts if you're not. Because yesterday or that day, if you figure it out, I paid 1 cent per hex.
Yep, that's insane.
You know,
it's
why wouldn't
insane.
you want to do that?
Yeah, people are missing the boat on that. And for the longest time, people have been, you know, I mean, how much information will people need in order to get their affairs in order when it comes to this? I think the only time they're going to realize that is when Hex is at $1. They can't get T-shares that they thought they were going to be able to get in the future. And I think that's when people are going to realize that they messed up. They should be, and they're like, oh, it's hyperinflationary. There's so much inflation on ICOSA. This and that. That's the best. That's the best time, and the flexibility that it gives you to get out of a 555 if you absolutely need to without wrecking yourself. I know you're taking a massive discount depending on where the ICOSA price is as well, but I mean, for someone who has, let's say, 20 different 555s for whoever it is, and something happens and they have a good chunk of, you know, ICOSA that can get out of it, and the price is good, you know, they can not hurt the system. Yeah, people won't, you know, they won't be dumping Hex on the market and hurting the price if it's a lot of it. They won't be taking a huge haircut if they're not even 50% done with their stake. They can just go ahead and exit and maybe even regain that specific HSI if they play things right. If it's not such a serious economic emergency when they're actually doing that, they can come back to it 90 days from now. So you can regain them. And as HEDRON price goes up as well, and that's what I'm really curious about. And I asked this to Crispy in chat, but he didn't answer it. Is I'm really curious to see what happens with the HSI auctions once HEDRON, you know, loses 1, maybe 2 zeros, maybe even 3 zeros in the future. Like, what is that going to look like for the people who are just simply holding the HEDRON, staking it like myself? I'm simply staking my HEDRON. I got a few HSIs earlier on, but I'm curious to see what happens when that HEDRON's worth a lot of has a lot of US dollar value behind it in the future, and how much of a discount am I really going to be able to get for those HSIs? Is the pool going to be smaller because people gave up their HEDRON and they can't mint as much out of it anyway with the regular stakes anymore? That's what I'm really curious about. I'll be right back, guys. Sorry, 1 second.
Yeah, so, you know, you buy an HSI, you get to get all the HEDRON that comes with it, you know, and in 3 years, how much that HEDRON worth? It might be worth what you paid for on the HSI.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that is interesting. The people that haven't used up their HEDRON and are just stacking it, I mean, from what Famous has said, I'm not sure really, but what he had said was that in the future you're gonna get a way better deal on the HSIs as people use up their HEDRON. They won't be able to buy 5 billion HEDRON, you know. So you'll be able to get 90% deals maybe, but we'll see what happens. I don't know personally how that's gonna play out.
And I agree,
but it's
Bigfoot.
interesting.
If only there was a smack talking chat for HSIs.
Well, there would be a lot more HEDRON burn, that's for sure. You could almost guarantee that.
You know what? If you tell Alex, he might do that. He's all about it. He loves what he built. He knows what he built. I think he'd be about it for sure. Something like the was it BNB pot I don't know if you guys participated in that at all.
I saw it. I went to their website before. Yeah.
Yep. So when you're doing the little wheel spinning thing, there's a little chat on the side. We were just talking mad shit the entire time, and it definitely riled up some people to throw in like thousands of dollars into that pot every time it was spinning, just poking at people. Like, I can see your address. I know how much you got. I think that'd be a really cool thing to do.
Yeah, it'd be interesting how would he. I was just thinking, how would he add it? Because it'll be each individual bid, and then each of it has a chat like to the side, like you pull up the chat window or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, it would be cool if on that thing it said place your bid and then note underneath. That way you can click on it and be like, F you, address such and such. You know?
Yes. Yes. I'd be on there 24/7 just talking smack. You don't have enough HEDRON, you broke pleb. I can see your address. Yeah, but that was beautiful. The yield that we got yesterday, absolutely delicious. People need to start figuring things out. Every time we stream, we say it. Go to Twitter space, we say it. We got enough warning. I'm going to stop caring pretty soon because I'm going to be rolling in it.
Yeah, the deal should end really after year one, from what I hear, right? The APY should go down.
Well, it depends how many. Yeah, the yield should slow down a little bit. But as things go, the lower the yield, just like in Hex, it's going to be, it typically means, I'm not sure that's going to be the case, price go up. And I think more people are going to participate, and a lot of people are going to capitulate, and a lot of the HEDRON and a lot of the ICOSA is going to be the LP pools. I think that's what's going to end up happening. The bigger players are going to be like, yep, I'm done with this. I'm going to go to the liquidity pool and earn some fees. If the yield goes down like that.
Yeah. So like, you know, when you said famous, talking about the price of HEDRON going up versus Hex and ICOSA. So as that price increases, people will be bidding less HEDRON to win those same HSIs, meaning that there's going to be less burnt HEDRON for the day, meaning that there's less inflation of ICOSA.
Right.
But also at the same time, the T-share rate's going up. So as the T-share rate goes up, that means it's less ICOSA versus the burnt. Because that's how, you know, take the burnt HEDRON, you divide that by the T-share rate, that's how you get the ICOSA, how much is minted that day. So if the T-share rate goes up and the amount of HEDRON for being bid per T-share goes down, it's going to have a effect on the amount of yield that's being paid out in those pools. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think with adoption as well, I mean, that's going to help tremendously. As time goes on, the more I look at it, what's really, after the whole debacle with FTX and Celsius and all these centralized counterparties that basically rugged everyone, just stole their money, people were looking for yield in a safe manner. And I think with the amount of education that's coming out with all the turmoil of this bear market, the people who are wise to it, that didn't lose everything in this entire bear market, that are going to stick around, and the new people that are coming in. I think the whole meme coin thing, like, it's always going to be there, but it's not going to be as strong as before. And I think people are really going to wise up, especially with the connection to traditional markets, where people are just, you know, losing money left and right. Their 401ks are going, they're going to look for other routes, and hopefully they find the Hex ecosystem, which is really one of the few
or
protocols. Or well, I'm getting to is what really offers yield at the rate that Hex does, right? Or that ICOSA is doing right now. So my hope is that through adoption, especially with a lot of the ETH whales and bigger players in the ecosystem, and with PulseChain, and, you know, they're going to take a look at that. Even if, you know, 1% of those people that come in stick around, if they're big enough, they can make a huge difference in the ecosystem in general. They're going to be willing to pay thousands upon thousands of dollars for one, 30 or 40,000, whatever dollars for 1 billion HEDRON. Like, oh, well, I'm a big player here. I can do this. I can throw 1,000 ETH in here. I can throw another 2,000, ETH over there, and gain this yield that they're typically looking for. I think that's going to be huge. And if we play our cards right, as a community, and welcome these people in once they are in, and not beat them over the head like we're used to doing, I think we're going to have really good outcomes. Really good outcomes for everyone, for the new people, and for us who are holding up the system now.
I think a lot of the new people are going to buy PulseChain.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's used to that layer 1 performing the best, and they're just going to do that, which makes sense. I mean, right? We've never seen any other coin outperform the layer 1, so it just makes sense to be in, especially early on the layer 1. It's good.
Yeah, the anticipation is absolutely killing everyone, and I think it's just going to rocket up. It's just going to shoot up, I think. I don't think we're going to come down to SAC prices. I don't think we'll go below SAC prices. I don't think there are enough big players desperate enough to get out of PulseChain immediately that it's going to make a difference. I think it's going to be the middle to lower players with lower economic energy selling off that needed their money back. And I don't think it's going to make a difference. And I think if there is a significant dump, which I do expect, but I don't think it's going to be 90%. I think it's going to be closer to 50 to 60 at best. And because we have the burn and we have PLSX as well. And there's just so much game theory built into the whole thing that I don't see it happening. I think it'll stag for a little while, even if it drops, and it'll go chop sideways for a bit. And I think as soon as the bull market really hits, that's when we're going to see those, maybe 100, 150x, who knows, maybe even more than that. I just don't see a scenario where PulseChain just crashes, or PulseX even just crashes to the ground tremendously, to the point where we're getting made fun of. Like, oh, your thing crashed. Like, no, I don't think we're going to see that at all.
You don't think 90% dips are in the game?
I think they are. I don't think for the initial launch that we're going to see that. I think we'll see a major correction, but I really don't see someone who went in with, $1.5 million or $5 million and like, oh, cool, I got a 2x, cool, I'm out. Like, I don't really see that. I think the people that threw that much money in there, considering the way that it was done, which was a sacrifice, not in ICO, not mint your coins here, not any of that. It wasn't a pre-sale either, technically. People are just, thinking it is because they have an expectation, even if when we were told not to have one. That I think the people that went in really hard like that, I think they're in it for the medium to long term. And I don't think we're going to see that mass crash immediately. I don't personally see it, but I could be wrong. Obviously, I'm not a dev, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm nothing. Just a guy with a headset on.
Fortunately, you're somebody that's going to be prepared either way, though, right? So everybody in the chat, they're like, well, this is the way I think it's going to happen. We agree with you, Allan, but we're going to be prepared just in case it doesn't happen.
Of course. Oh yeah. I mean, shit, I'm looking at Hex right now. Even after Pulse launches, if that thing dips, which everyone wants to copy, right? I'm still buying Ethereum X for sure, 100%. Like, I'm prepared to do that, hopefully by then when it happens.
ETH HSIs the first 24 hours. Ooh.
So much opportunity.
Deeper down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Nah, but Crypto Bigfoot's right. We're probably going to be buying PLS at $1 one day, right?
Yeah, probably.
And I think we'll dip. The dip is most of that will depend on how many X's we start with early on. So if we start like a 3X, right? So what's the initial price for everything? 3 zeros and a 1, right? So we start at 3 zeros and a 3. We might not see it as big of a dip. as if we start at 2 zeros and a 1, which would be a 10x, right? Then we might see more people are going to be more inclined to sell the more X's that you see. Oh, also, I was going to ask you guys, do you guys have a taking profit strategy? I've been watching ATX Crypto lately, and he talks about that a lot. I personally don't have one, but I'll definitely take one when look to do something. In 2025, right? September 2025. You got to sell a little before that, from what I hear.
Yeah.
Ivan on Tech said it. Who knows?
Yeah. So yeah, we got to front run them. Maybe sell in July.
So
Yeah. No.
my strategy is pretty simple. I got a lot of 555 stakes, and so I don't have to worry about too much as far as unstaking or selling my hex. So 80% of it is of my income, or maybe 70% of my coins are 555 stakes. The rest of it is PLSX and a few other things where I can earn yield. So mainly I'm going to be using my yield to take out funds once it gets a year and a half into a PLS. But come the 500 days from now, I think that taking profit's going to start happening. But only with so much of my funds, not a lot, but just so much, because who knows? We'll see how the world is by that time. But as of right now, it's the yield I'm earning, and I won't even be spending that. I'll be taking profits probably at once. I suppose once HEX and PLS reach 100x moving forward, I think I'll start taking small percentages.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm of similar thought. I mean, I have my goals, which is hopefully about 10 to 50% of my bags can retire my mother. Like if I can do that, I'm set, because I can live off the yield after that. So mine is fairly simple. Not looking to cash everything out, not looking to cash out 50% of it, unless it does something ridiculous like 5,000x. I'm like, okay, I got to take like 30% of that, and I'm going to set myself up to where I no longer have to work. And not to say that 5,000x is what I need to do that, but at that point, I would seriously sit down and be like, okay, I need to just relax and let this play out and take my profit and be happy and continue to participate in the ecosystem with what I have left. Because there's going to be plenty of yield and to go around and to still grow your bags in the future. So for me, it's very simple. Just retire my mother, and then if it does something ridiculous in 3 to 4 years, take maybe 30% of what I have at that point and just kind of relax, in a sense, to start doing the things that I want to do in my personal life.
Yeah, 2 years. Good.
2 years? Okay.
I don't know. Hell no.
All right, bro.
Probably not, but
it's on record.
there's
2
a
years,
chance.
guys.
There is a chance, but probably not.
Yeah, who knows?
But yeah, if it's like September 2025, you got to sell something, right? 5%, 1%, something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at least your initial
yeah.
investment with like maybe a 2x built into it.
Yep. Sell to rebuy at the bottom, close to the bottom, or yeah. Start DCAing after. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead, finish your thought. You can start
It's gone.
DCAing.
It's gone.
And it's gone.
No, it's just for those in the chat, just so you guys, in case you're not aware, eFiat is live, but they haven't given the public address. So if you got eFiat tokens, supposedly tomorrow morning sometime, they'll be releasing that DApp information to where the public can start staking coins or putting in their LPs, whatever.
Nice. Yeah. Was there a sacrifice for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, clearly I didn't do it. I did buy some, around 42 cents maybe, and I'm hoping to get some more, but people are just not really selling it.
Yeah, I
Alright.
sacked, dumped it, got 2 T-shares. Shout out to Godcack. Let's go.
Nice.
Yeah, someone in the human hex trafficker. I love that name. Erica Wall called us a cult. Erica's a little bitch, so fuck her.
Old news. We've been a cult for a while.
I feel like he just trolls on, like, Richard just like tells him to troll. Like, he's friends with Richard. Is he trolling on purpose? Like,
He's trolling.
he's not that retarded, because when he did the interview with Richard, he was like, "Oh, thank you, man. I love you." You know. He was all,
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
then
I
he
think
does
people.
the McCormick interview, and it's complete opposite, trolling us. Oh, posting sucks. Blah blah.
Yeah, I think people got to keep in mind when big players in pretty much in most arenas, behind the scenes. I mean, these people know each other. They contribute, to each other's purposes as well, unless they really hate each other. Take for example, NBA players. Like if you go once they leave the arena and they're behind there, and there's Larry Bird talking to Michael and Magic Johnson talking to this guy and LeBron talking to that guy, like in the opposite teams, like outside of their competition stage, they're most likely contributing or know each other well enough that they respect each other to some level, at some level. So I don't think it's any different in the crypto space, especially at the level where Richard is. Like if you put Eric out there, and yeah, he might just be throwing jabs at him, and he might really think that the whole thing is
Dude,
completely
Eric's
whack.
the fucking water boy, or the ball guy, like the towel boy. Like, what are you comparing? Can I get some more Gatorade, Eric? Please.
I'm thirsty.
Fuck. Richard's MJ. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, but just keep that in mind that I think bigger players like that, they at some level when the cameras are off, there's a level of respect and they do interact with each other in a professional setting. Sandy Beach.
What up, Sandy Beach? Apparently she's a hex influencer now, or he? Is it she or he? I don't know, but
She.
okay, all right. According to Hex Token.
Well, she's got
Or he's just
4,000,
he
5,000 followers.
is she?
She's ripping.
Okay. I thought he was just hyping
Killing
her
it.
up. I thought he's just hyping
Nah,
her up because she's always in the chat.
no,
Shout out to the chat.
No, Sandy's got a ton of followers. What she got? She's got 3,200 followers.
Okay.
3,219. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Fantastic. I haven't even cracked 1,000 yet.
She said I'm an influencer. So am I.
I'm stuck at 953 perpetually for like the past 6 months. Not that I care that much. He's an influencer. What else is on the dock, Pepito? What's on the docket? What's on the what do you got over there?
That's it. I don't have anything else. Do you guys have anything? I mean, that's all I put in the title. What else can we talk about? I guess when do you guys think we launch? You guys both said a couple weeks, maybe a month. You both agreed. Yeah, I don't. I mean, just this Pepe thing. We'll see what happens, but. Ivan on Tech, he went on the show with Crypto 7 and he mentioned Pepe more than he mentioned Hex. So I was like, okay, I got to look into it. What's going on here?
Well, you got to ask DCC.
I don't. People like DCC. I just don't all right, so I don't understand. He's a multimillionaire, but he asked people for $10 to meet him. / has a paid group that pays him so he can show them coins and show them graphs and tell them the number goes up, or I don't know, maybe he teaches them crypto.
You got to respect the hustle, bro.
I don't understand why people have to pay for it, right?
Mhm.
A lot of, yeah, it's just a lot of money. $500, whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but um, it's just money that could go a long way in crypto. $100, $200. We had some guy in the spaces this week came in there, said, a couple hex influencers, ICOSA influencers, charged them like 500 and $200 to teach him liquidity providing and, the hex ICOSA HEDRON ecosystem, I guess. It's like, damn, it's a lot of money.
Wow. Well,
So a lot of people don't understand like this idea is okay is some people think that their time is worth a lot more, like going directly to somebody that's got all the knowledge, than to spend the time going into and gathering all that information. So they will pay those prices to get all that deep dive info straight from somebody that has spent hundreds of hours, the last couple of weeks going over this stuff, that does spend their time keeping up to date. Like I know people that will like pay, like they'd pay like me if I wanted that, they'd pay me like $400 just to tell them what they need to do and what they need to watch for, right? Like they're like, I just need you to tell me what to do. I'd rather you just give me the ABCs and I just want to get it set up. There's people out there that are like that. So like with DCC, like people are like, well, there's value here for me because I listened to him. I did one of his courses. I learned a lot, and then I went to this whatever he provides, and I 10x my money, so I'm gonna do it again because he gives me the up to date on all these ecosystems, right? And so like I'm not saying that everybody's good and that you should pay for all this stuff, but if somebody has value and you think you're going to get more value than what you're going to give them, there's nothing wrong with that. You just, again, it's just like what we teach in the Hex ecosystem. You got to be very careful on who you listen to and where you put your money and what coins you buy, right? And so it's the same thing when you're trying to get information. It's just like influencers. We tell people, be very careful the influencers you follow. It's the same thing when you're trying to learn from people on whatever it is, when you're trying to, what are the new coins that I should be looking at, what should I expect in the future, or how do I be more secure, or whatever it is. If you're trying to learn that and you're like, well, I'd rather Pepe or I mean man, my brain's just gone fog. Like somebody that's a top security expert in their field. There's the people that are like, I don't want to spend an hour or 2 hours learning this. I'd rather you tell me exactly what I need to buy and send me a step by step, and I'll send you $100 or $400 to do that. Just do this for me. Here's the money. That's worth it to me, right? There's people out there that are like that. So it's like when you guys in the Hex community have multi-millions of dollars, you're not going to worry about some stupid stuff. You're not going to be like, if you had $10 million in ICOSA right now, you wouldn't be doing these little 40 ICOSA wallets to try to, roll it into a higher, yield like every 30 days or 90 days, right? You wouldn't care, right? Because you'd rather just have your big wallet and you're fine with it, right? And that's where people get to that point where they're like, you know what, it's not worth my time to try to get that. I mean, yes, I could probably do 1,000 wallets and I'll probably earn maybe 100% more over time, but it's not worth my effort, right? And so people are like that. So like if you have value, there are people that are like, I don't want to put the time that you put in. Give me your knowledge. Here's the money for it, right? So if anything, you just got to be very careful. Just like we teach people in this ecosystem, you got to be very careful who you listen to, what you do. This is why you need to be more secure. This is why, it's the same thing. People are selling courses. There's a lot of bad ones out there, right? They can lead you in very dangerous waters. But again, you got to apply the same principles that you're taught in this ecosystem about all the other coins or central exchanges, so on and so forth. So, so yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that it's okay to do it. I'm just saying there are people that It may not be us, but there are people with a lot of money that are like, I don't want to put the time in. I'd rather just go take this course, right? So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah. And just to gang up on Dan a little bit more, I just beat him over the head. There's also the aspect of when you get something for free, typically people don't value it that much, right? And if you pay for something, you're going to be paying attention. So I know that Silver, the Antidote, and Access, when they first started their Discord thing, they were charging $100 for the month, and that was exactly the explanation anyway given. And it's true. I mean, when you give free stuff away, a lot of the times people just don't pay attention. Like, oh, it's free, whatever. It must not be that valuable. So sometimes you got to tag a little bit, put something on there for people to be like, okay, well, I threw $100 at it. Like, let me pay attention at least. Let me pop in there. Let me check it out at the very least. So there's that aspect of it, because the people who are teaching it, they also want people to pay attention. They don't want just a bunch of trolls like me in the chat going, yeah, to the moon. They want someone who, put a little bit of equity into it and said, okay, I'm willing to give this amount of value for it, that are going to probably pay attention. So I can see that part of it, but I think you hit it right on the head, Humble. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. Like, I find a lot of free, I cherish and I appreciate every piece of information that this community gives out for free. And I think we've been spoiled because a lot of other communities, they definitely charge for their quote unquote alpha, and it's not even that great. And we get it for free. So I think we're spoiled to some degree. And I do believe Richard is a big proponent of not doing those kind of things. But people will do what they'll do. They got to hustle. At the very least, they're given good information versus just taking your money, giving you fake signals, then dumping on your head like BitBoy does. People are paying. I don't know if he has a paid course or anything, but I'm sure he's got millions of dollars coming in from paid services of some sort, even just to show
Stake
coins.
that IO or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
That guy's the biggest paid show, but yeah, I mean, it makes some sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
I still don't agree with you guys, but like $10 to go meet DCC. All right.
$10. All right, that's cool. That's cheap. I mean, what does he do?
I don't know if he did it, but I caught a clip of it. I was like, what is going on here? The trap gravity in me was like, what's going on?
Yeah, $10, bro.
The demands play, baby.
It's okay. You're going to be able to afford 10,000 meetings with DCC when Pepe goes to the moon. Don't worry. You'll be doing fine.
I'm good. Man, what am I going to say to the guy?
So the same thing 10,000 times.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk shit in person. So.
I will. I'll probably get punched in the face.
Just only from my mom's basement. He's over there in this multi-million-dollar studio. I'm in my mom's basement. He shouldn't be charging. But he could do like cool shit with the money. He could set up like some kind of wallet where he invests it over time and shows like these are subscriptions. I took 50% of it, put it in these coins. Look how well we did. Blah blah. That'd be kind of cool if he did something like that, or some of these influencers did something like that. But yeah.
You know what? Human Hex Traffickers asking the real questions out there. How much to meet with Ricardo Corazon, brother? That's what I want.
I think you can fly out to Austin, Texas, and go to one of these meetups. He might just be there.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
But if you want, I can reach out to him. It's going to be a 10% agent fee for you and him. So that's 20%. He'll probably give on to you, Human Hex Trafficker. So, yeah.
Nice.
Just let me know. Hit me up in the DM.
I would love to have him and my friend Somi doing a stream together. I think that would be hilarious.
Who's your friend Somi?
What? You live under a rock, bro?
That's an influencer or something? My friend
Somi? He's a streamer, yeah. He'll do videos. I don't think he does lives. But he talks about hacks and everybody else.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, no, he's pretty good. I enjoy his content. He's pretty funny. He's got that British accent or some sort of accent going. Calls everybody cutie pies, and he's the king of the poopy emojis. I'll send you the link later to check him out.
Okay. All right.
XC Quinn, I'm down to get punched in the face. Yeah, I'll probably get it. And yeah, someone's gonna punch me in the face when we do our first Hex meetup because I'm not mincing my words whatsoever with anything.
Who are you gonna talk shit to? You have some
Cap,
people in mind?
no, RG3 straight up. Call him short, like off the
Oh,
bat.
just like tease him? Okay. He might hit
Yeah,
you too. That's the funny
I
thing.
know. Yeah, he's not that short. He's 5'8".
He's like my height. He might hit you too.
Yeah, he will hit me.
Just be ready for it. Just bob and weave. You'll be fine, right?
Yeah, I'll just run away from him. It'll be fine. Can't catch up with this.
Oh, here's something.
Yep.
Do you guys see all those tweets that were people were checking to see who had checked their Twitter page the most? You guys follow those?
Yeah.
I saw Kinetics is one.
I saw KDP.
Why is
Quinn,
HVid lurking
You are my
Kinetics?
number one. Thanks, Hexy Quinn. I'm glad you checked mine the most.
There you go.
What?
Nah, I'm just messing with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Corey.
No, I think
Sorry.
I think mine showed Hivid was the number one on mine. So I know that isn't true.
Corey Costas was the funniest. Somebody memed him right off the bat. It was just KDP. But it was a KDP's one. It was Corey Costa was all of them.
That's hilarious. I missed that. That would have been funny. Oh man.
Yeah, I'll find it.
That's a good one. Oh, that's a good one.
Andy, don't post it. Please don't post it.
Wait, I missed that. What'd you say?
Corey Costa is on my list too. Yo, shout out to Corey Costa. I liked his little tricep photo he did the other day, and I was looking at that for a while.
Yeah, my man's
What
ripped.
the heck's going on?
That's the one guy.
He's got a weird body shape. I don't know what's going on there. I'm sorry, but
it's the camera angle.
He's just fat and ripped at the same time.
No, like, he's just stocky, dude. You know, like George Constanza.
He's a big boy.
No, he's like George Constanza. He's just stocky, but this dude lifts. I mean, that dude's ripped. I wouldn't mess with him.
Drink like 50 beers a day or something, and he just works out. Like that's what it looks like.
Yeah, he works out.
Like 50 pack a day.
No. It's just a camera angle, dude. It's just a camera angle. Yeah, that dude's ripped. I wouldn't mess with him.
No, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not messing with nobody. Over here, I'll talk shit. What up, Corey? You little meatball, you. But in front of him, I'm not gonna say anything.
I'll say it.
Great streams, man. Great streams. He's always looking to the side. Like if you watch him, he's like, I don't know. I can't watch him sometimes. He needs to fix his camera first of all. He's interviewing, not his camera, his mic. Sometimes it sounds like he's in a fucking basement. He's interviewing fucking Gary Cordone and shit from the fucking basement. But he's always looking to the side. It's creeping me. He's like looking to the side, reading the questions, creeping me out. But yeah,
I love it, dude. No, I love his.
He's good.
Style.
He's good.
He's great. Like he's great. He's great. And he's got the walkthroughs. I got to do a compilation. Maybe you can do it. Do a compilation of Corey Costa just walking out on every single guest. Every single time he's got to end his stream, the walkthrough. It's perfect. Just do like just do like you put the background music of the Hulk from like the movie, like in the back, him just walking away from his computer every single time. I just don't have the time for it.
All right, maybe. But yeah, what other? I feel like you watch a lot of streams. What other streams do you watch?
Who, me?
Like I said, lately I've been watching ATX, Discord.
Yeah. When I get a chance, I mean, I'd like to watch. Crypto 7. I mean, he does them early. He's in the UK.
On Wednesdays is good. He has Turbo on there.
Yeah. Hold on, give me 1 sec. I'll be right back.
Turbo. Sorry. Yeah, no worries. So on Wednesdays on Crypto 7's channel. Yeah, his streams are early, like probably 9 a.m. Eastern usually. He's in the UK, but he's pretty good. He takes time to think of what he's going to say. He probably writes shit down. But on Wednesday, he has X Turbo on, the hot load thing from England. Anyways, yeah, that's a good show.
Yeah, ATX is great. Obviously, Wales Only, Thoughts Child is amazing whenever he gets on it. He does them kind of late.
Yeah,
So I can
Thought
catch him.
good. Yeah, I never catch his streams because it's late. My girl's home and I'm not watching Thoughts. But yeah, he's good. He does a lot of music and stuff, so I enjoy that.
Yeah. And then obviously the staples of the Hex community. We got everything on Discourse, Syndicate, Wake Up Hex, and What the Hex, and I catch the Spanish show on Saturdays too, occasionally. But yeah, they're and Fuller Finance starting to catch up, and then Ben recently had that 6 hour stream with Westcott and a bunch of other people on there as well. I mean, there's just a
Yeah, I
lot.
was
And
watching those. Yep.
yeah, I think we're gonna have a robust streaming, and we already have it, but I think the torch is being passed on to a lot of the newcomers, and we haven't really heard much from Cryptographics as of late either. He was on fire for a while. I mean, there's just so many people. Heinz Crypto, like he kind of does his own thing, but he's centric to hacks as well. You know, there's just so much, and then Rags to Riches. I mean, geez, the list. There's just so much information out there, right? And then there's this. The worst damn crypto show ever.
Can
Period.
you imagine how many? I mean, how many shows are going to be on once PulseChain launches, and there's something that's more of for them to all talk about? It's just going to explode. Even those that were like have been not active right now are going to be blowing up again.
Yeah, it's going to be insane, guys. So just hang in there. 2 more weeks, and then 2 more years for the 10,000x. You'll be all right.
You guys think? Initially, I thought we are gonna get a 10,000x. I don't think it's gonna happen anymore.
Yeah, just sell at 1,000. I'll let you know.
I'm not selling at that. We'll see. Both you guys probably will before I sell at 1,000, but
I'll take
that's the
profits at
Tommy
1,000.
in me.
I'll take profits at 1,000.
Yeah, you guys take yeah.
So
Good.
I'm hoping that my ICOSA and like my PP and all the airdrops that I got, that I'll be able to buy whatever I want from that. By selling that, I won't have to touch my HEDRON. I won't have to touch my TEX or my PLSX or PLS. Any of those, I won't have to touch. You know, so I'm planning on just selling the extra stuff, all the extra stuff I got. Hopefully, that'll cover everything I want through the next bear market.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. You know, I'm really hoping not to touch a whole lot and just sort of touch the yield and keep a lot of my coins intact. I'm really hoping that we can do that, but it's going to require a lot of patience, which I hope that I have. But the more that I stake Hex and rewatch a lot of the streams and sort of refortify or re-strengthen my beliefs as to why I did certain things, you got to remind yourself once in a while. I think that's what's helped a lot of people stay in the ecosystem. At least it's helped me sort of change my view on how to not get rid of my crypto and hold on to it, because you know, a lot of the times people just sell too soon. I would really hate to let go of a lot of the coins that I currently have, a lot of the tokens that I have, and once Pulse launches, I mean, I'm hoping not to sell most of my copied crypto, because it has so much value in Ethereum that I think it's going to replicate it just as well, if not better, on Pulse Chain because of the gas fees. It's going to be utilized the right way. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Humble. I really hope I don't have to touch any of it. It hurts me anytime I think about it.
Well, I'm fine with selling. The only reason I'm selling is because I want to rebuy more crypto near the bottoms. I'm trying to sell some tops.
Yeah.
Even my Hex, I mean, I'm mostly staked 10 to 15, but I got a 1-year bag that I just roll over, and you know, I plan on, it's a certain percentage of my total bag. I plan on hopefully selling near the top in order to get more Hex, and I plan on doing the same thing with PulseX, everything. Sell a certain percentage, hopefully near the top, like I said.
Yeah.
But I don't need the see everyone. A lot of people. I'm listening to people in the spaces. And they're they talk about cars they're gonna get. They talk about this they're gonna get. So yeah, just they. I feel like they might regret it later on if they don't hold a big percentage of their bag like 10 years plus. Unless, I mean, you need it, like you're gonna retire your mom. So, I mean, that's great, that's amazing. But like, if you're
Yeah,
gonna get a random car, I don't know, a lot,
yeah,
it just, yeah, a lot of partying, whatever you're gonna do, right? Drop a
yeah,
million partying, buying some fucking clothes,
yeah.
and doing stupid shit.
Yeah. And I'm really happy that I found crypto at the age that I did, because I'd be talking about cars and Lambos and all the good stuff. It was like 10 years ago. For me, and I'm not even talking about selling my entire bag to retire my mother. I'm talking about I'm hoping to do it with like 10%, or even
Yeah,
less
yeah,
if things, because it pains me to even think that I'm going to have to at some point sell some of these assets in order to, function in the world and enjoy the gains that came through it. Um, it's a weird attachment because the value is so great, and that's how you know you're holding something good. I think that you really have to think about it before you hit that sell button. Never sold any hex. The only time that I ever gave it up was for the sacrifice of pulse chain. I sent hex in.
Just remember, the more X's it goes, the less you got to sell, right? So if somebody's hex does 100X and they want, which is to say it's worth $10,000, and they want to, buy a new, or say it's worth that 100X doesn't say it's worth like 100,000, right? They want to buy a car. Well, if they want to buy a car for 30 grand, at 30% they got to sell, right? But if it's 200X's and then they sell, then they only have to sell 15% of it, right? You get that same 30,000, right? So like the more X's it does, the little bit longer you wait, the less you got to sell to get the money that you wanted, right? But there's a danger there because you might end up missing. They might hit the top and then drop back down again too, right? So hence the DCA. But it's just like Richard says, it comes to a point where you don't really have to sell very much of what you hold to pay for the things that you want. And then once you got the things you want, you don't really have to sell very much anymore as time goes on, right? So keep that in mind, you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, and just remember, if you hold long enough, you're gonna end up being one of the big players in the ecosystem, because a lot of people are gonna capitulate way too early. That's just gonna, and if you're DCAing into it and growing your bag with the yield and you're doing the things that you're supposed to and utilizing the system the way it's supposed to, smart, you're gonna get to a point where you don't need to sell. It's gonna be like, why do I even need to do this? Just enough for what you need. I think a lot of people don't believe that that's going to be the case, and I implore that people think deeply about the decisions they're going to make with their bags, to not be short-sighted. If you waited 2 years for vaporware and 4 test nets, then you can wait another 2 to 3 at the very least to take some profits and not give up your entire position right away. You're gonna regret it. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and you're gonna feel real silly. You might get that Lambo, you might get that house or that condo, whatever it is, that whatever your goal is, but that's all you're gonna have to show for it. And then people that stayed in the ecosystem are gonna be able to get that plus 1,000 other things forever, and generational wealth will be created out of that. And that's what's up. And if it was easy, I mean, I work in real estate, and I tell people all the time, if it was easy to invest in real estate, everybody would do it and everybody would be successful at it. And I've had clients who look for properties, investment properties for a year and a half, 2 years sometimes. It takes time, a lot of patience. And when they do get it, they're like, oh, I understand what you were saying. Okay, now I'm in the motion of, okay, now I can do this with it, I can do that with it. But it took patience. And the people who practice that patience to get the property at the right price, at the right location, with the right numbers, the ones that benefited the most, not the ones that were like, oh, well, I don't care, I'm going to overbid and eventually it's going to pay off. I'm like, yeah, that might happen. Maybe, if you're lucky. But the people who follow who stick to the rules, how things are supposed to be played, are the one, especially small players. I mean, I'm not a big player in the ecosystem. I didn't sacrifice millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars to PulseX, so I'm going to have to pay with my time. I'm going to have to wait. I'm going to utilize the system as best as I can, the smartest way that I can. And I think people should really think deeply about what they're going to do, with that opportunity. Deeply. I mean, in the green room, we were talking about the shit coins that we were holding, Humbledy and I. This one and that one, blah, blah, blah. And if I would have held a lot of those, probably would have been pretty well off at the moment. But I didn't, not that they had any sort of value proposition other than being a meme, but even with the meme coin, just holding long enough, you're going to do well in some instances. So when you have Hex and ICOSA and HEDRON and Pulse and PulseX, and you have all these things that are here to support it, why would you think that this isn't going to succeed? Why would you think that, getting rid of that right away is going to help your cause for the future?
Don't sell the golden goose.
Yep.
Right.
That's it.
I was stuck on when you were talking about, if you buy all this stuff and you're like, that's all you got to show for it, what really is that? I was thinking about how, like I, for one, have been in, this cryptocurrency, the blockchain since 2016. And excuse me, you guys, I'm kind of like trying to move my laundry. But I didn't make a lot of money, going, the first 4 years, really. I didn't make too much money off it. I didn't really hold. I tried trading, a lot of. And what's really cool is that here we are. I'm in a community. I've never been on a stream before I met these guys. I don't know why anybody would ever want me on a stream, but here I am. And it's fun. Like, I've met so many people that are just here to hang, to chat, to spend time with each other, to learn from each other. I mean, it's unbelievable, the community. And that is what really makes this fun for me, is the fact I get to chat with everybody, in Twitter Spaces, and, listen and learn from YouTube stuff. I watch, listen, whether I'm working out and working. It's just awesome having all this stuff to listen to and all you guys to talk to. I mean, think about it, you guys. If crypto went to shit, I think half the people would still be here talking to each other. You know what I mean? That is so awesome, and that's what's really valuable. If you really think about it, money is fun and nice to a certain point. Yes, it can help your life be a little bit less stressful, but it also can make it real stressful too, right? But what's really cool is all you guys. It makes this fun. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I never thought I could be on a stream on YouTube with anyone talking about crypto. I mean, I knew absolutely nothing when I came into this ecosystem. And I think at this point, I'm just feeling like I need to share what I've learned, even if it's wrong, and people correct me all the time. That's fine. I learn more. But just giving back to the community as they did to me when I came in, I think that's the most beautiful part about this entire operation that's going on. And there's really a family of sorts. A lot of people come into the community broken, financially, bad experiences, and also spiritually broken, and they found solace, and they also found truth in what we do, and the math, and the potential of how their lives can change in the future because of making the right decisions and looking at things the right way. Just don't buy Pepito coin. You'll be fine. Dan, you left us. We're stranded.
He does that. He does that.
It just takes off on us. Jesus.
Well, somebody said that his baby needed a beer, so he might have wanted to take care of that.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. Fine by me.
I'm here.
Oh, he just went to buy more Pepe coin, that's all.
Exactly, yeah. I was checking the price.
And I think Funding Jim asked for the link real quick, so I hopefully you don't mind. I sent him the link.
No, I don't mind. No. Yeah, he's not in the green room yet, so.
Okay. Excellent. So what else is, what happened to ASIC? I heard a few rumors out there. It was getting rugged. What happened? Anybody know?
The price dropped. Yeah.
And then replaced it. Somebody
Oh, okay.
replaced
So it was just
maybe.
an,
I don't know.
it was just an LP move.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think somebody said it. They took the liquidity out of ASIC and they applied it to ASIC. They put it in the ASIC / to the ASIC Pulse Bitcoin pool. So
Funding Jim says 5 minutes. Funding Jim says 5 minutes. Stick around, people. 5 more minutes. 2 more weeks.
But yeah, nobody was really surprised anyways. I mean, a lot of us hold, airdrops, so we don't really care too much about it, but
yeah,
whatever we're holding, we want to do well, right?
Yep. Yeah, 100%. I mean, I swapped my airdrop of Pulse Doge for ASICs to get Pulse Bitcoin. So, I mean, it's all free. I mean, it's just paying the gas, which luckily was during the bear market. So it was like $2 transaction, $3 transaction. It was beautiful. Hopefully it keeps happening. And I'm actually really curious as to what's going to happen when we start getting all the airdrops on Pulse Chain too. I think a lot of people are going to lose. They're going to lose their tokens because they're going to be chasing a lot of airdrops with malicious contracts. Funding, Jim.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I was enjoying the program. I caught the past maybe 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes of your conversation. So yeah, that was pretty interesting content. I was tooling around. I was like, these guys are doing a live stream. It's pretty nice.
Well, welcome aboard.
Yeah, tell me about this thing called Hex. I've heard in the news and I think on billboards and things like that. What is this Hex thing?
Financial freedom. That's what it feels like. That's what it smells like. Loving every minute of it.
Well, what I was listening to most recently on your stream was Allan, I think, was talking about when do you sell? Like, obviously we've had like a time of a wait between the sacrifice narrative. If there's an airdrop, it gets airdropped at zero value, those kinds of things. And then there's going to be charts, and the charts are because people, human beings, when they discover something, they don't value it until they find value, and that is usually from peer-to-peer transaction, trade, things like that. It's, oh, I can use this. And if it's in the physical world, it may have been arrowheads or buffalo hides or something along those lines. And communities trade what they have as a resource for things that they want. And the value comes from the utility. Now we're in this digital realm, and the digital realm, what is the value? Sometimes it is access to information. Like, we use the internet, and with the internet, you can put a search term in, or maybe with AI, you can ask, some kind of large language model for information, right? And almost instantly you have the information at your fingertips. And sometimes it's not 100% accurate, so you still have to do a little bit of vetting about the information you receive. But what I'm getting at is, even in the digital realm, these intangible things have value. And information is just an example. Communication, community, those base words, they mean something, like to your psychology, to your sense of belonging, to your sense of purpose, maybe to even your productivity if you're a creative, or you're a logical personality. Your sense of well-being from community and communication as social animals is very important, right? So we have value, whether we put a dollar term on it or a price on it, we have value for these intangibles. And I think that some of the price point stuff that I've learned over the past 5 years of being around cryptocurrency is a lot of windfall. Like, here's this thing, it's new, more people will learn about it maybe over the next 30 to 90 days, it may go viral and it becomes, interesting, almost a flash in the pan, even with price. And again, that's an interesting price discovery mechanism with a little bit of a hesitation, which is, I think that these things trend to be 30 to 60 day meme, and then that meme often will plateau. And because it's not lasting, some things in the digital realm are not lasting. You don't see the real hockey stick effect. What I mean by that is, I've been at this learning curve myself about Hex since 2018, right? Learning about it in Telegram, learning about it because basically one person had free time because of their previous successes to engage their intellect and utilize also their free time and their boldness so much to create social media content on YouTube that I learned about, right? I got introduced to the concept, I think, through Serena Alonzi, but then I started to basically voraciously absorb Richard Hart's content because he was available, right? He was the one that was talking about the narrative and the potential and, the concept of Bitcoin Hex, before there was a logo, before there was anybody known as a community content creator or anything like that, right? And what I'm getting at is the compounding effect of price is basically returning to you initially your time. That means you have to invest time. Right? So I had to invest time into learning what Hex might be, what the difference is between contracts, smart contracts, and tokens that have simply community around them, giving them value. So the reward of a yield, the reward of a ROI, Hex on Hex returns, all those things I had to go through as a learning curve. And the staying power of Hex is a great example of what is potential for PulseChain and PulseX, right? So we point toward other L1s, we point toward other DEXs, and we say, this is what this thing did, because when it launched as a different L1, Ethereum was a different L1 than Bitcoin. And other things later kind of came up with a narrative that they were going to be a faster or more secure or more vetted by academia kind of L1, like Cardano and all the other networks, Tron and so forth, right? And what's interesting is the sell narrative. The sell narrative, to me, these things have the potential for windfall, and with windfall, quick money effectively, you don't see usually lasting community around a narrative. You usually see the flash in the pan, almost like going to Las Vegas and hitting a jackpot. Like you may talk about it some because you won that game, but people aren't valuing you based on your skill set or your interpersonal skills or your boldness, communicating with others about an idea, espousing an idea. And I think we're really in an amazing position strategically, luckily, however you want to call it, that Hex, PulseChain, PulseX all coming together, market cycles, presidential election, Federal Reserve policies, like a lot of these things can be synergistic effect on price, right? And initially in 2018, one guy in this Hex community seemed like he was retired, already had money, retired at 23, serial entrepreneur, talking about cryptocurrency, talking about the intention of a design of a product. And then other people contributed, 20 minutes here on a Telegram chat, 30 minutes there on making a JPEG kind of comedy thing to post on Twitter. Maybe they volunteered to be admins in different rooms that came up later, talking about these Hex design and Hex meme and all these other things, right, around the idea of Hex. And that volunteerism is incredibly powerful, because once people started to actually see return on in the form of dollars, they continue to have a choice. Their choice is, do they continue to volunteer? Do they decide that some percentage of their earning day from their day job, their business, their other cash flowing things like real estate properties, like, do they divert some of their attention from those things that have a certain reward of time, being traded for money? Do they divert because now they have subsidy through relatively small ROI in the yield of HEX initially or something along those lines, like a buy, stake, yield, sell the scrape, basically kind of thing, allowing them to become more free, right? And then that person has to choose, or they often chose to say, now that I've got more free time, now that I've got less financial stress, now that I've got more support from my romantic partner or whatever about this crazy crypto world, I want to do something with it. What do I want to do? Maybe it's a nice car, maybe it's a nice dinner, being able to afford a car payment. A lot of people can't afford a car payment, so they upgrade their lifestyle, they upgrade their freedom, to maybe take a day off from work that they might have otherwise needed to earn and spend more time with their kid, at some play or something like that, like be more involved with their family. So you see the compounding effect, not just in the dollars, not just in the market cap. You see the compounding effect of volunteerism, right? You see the compounding effect of people that actually do reach a financial freedom point, right? And then they have a decision with their own, sense of obligation, or maybe their own sense of like, I've made it, now I want to help other people make it, however that works. So you see all this volunteerism with content creation, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, these social media platforms. You see more engagement from people, taking money out of their pocket that they could have put toward their family or toward material things, and going to big events, to support or educate others, right? That's the compounding effect. So you were saying, Allan was saying something about like, when do you sell? I think you should sell, and I think people should sell, right? But I think they should also have a purpose behind why are they selling, right? If you're just looking for paper gains, you can compound basically for eternity and never sell and just see paper, just see numbers on a ledger. But I think you should consider, people should all consider strategy, like Allan was commenting about. Like you have these narratives around a CD ladder in the HEX product. You have single-side staking as far as the PULSEX or Pulse chain, maybe. And I don't know, I'm not saying that you should do the different stable coins around staking those things, but there are options, protocols that basically can give you the optionality, right, as far as protocol versus the native token. And you have the ability, and if you have interest, to run a validator, to have a ROI on a validator. There's just a lot of opportunity, but it really takes an investment of your time to learn, and it takes a commitment of your emotion and logic to write it down, to basically come up with a strategy. Like, what is your plan? When you add, let's say, $500 per month to your income base, what does that do for you? Does that allow for you to make some lifestyle upgrade or some sense of security upgrade about your family moat, your family, financial position? That's really what I see coming, is not just windfall, because love them or hate them, Pepe has made a lot of money for people recently, and it's a meme. And the meme is going to likely reproduce their brand on other L1 chains, possibly even PulseChain. And maybe they will have staying power because they have some actual belonging or some volunteerism or some residual income base that allows for more freedom of their communities to do the thing I'm talking about, which is volunteerism with your excess, right? But I really think that our community is incredibly unique, and the synergy about like world events that happened in 2019, 2021 that kind of locked down the planet, it really allowed for a lot of our community to weld. And then with that weld, that sense of family belonging, they've chosen to reinvest. Like they reinvest not just financially, but they reinvest into brand or cross-pollination or cross-support, of other people coming into this ecosystem. So that's kind of a rant that Allan triggered, and that's why I asked for the link.
Yeah, perfectly said. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, and I think a lot it's also switching your mindset as well. And I encounter this via my culture. From Latino descent, and there are a lot of barriers to break as well. But also the mentality here, at least in the United States, for the average person of like, oh, I don't have a whole lot of money, so you don't think about the bigger things or even the small things that are really going to set you up in the future once you do have that opportunity, which in my heart, I believe this ecosystem is providing, and cryptocurrency as a whole, it's certainly going to provide and has provided for the past 12 years. I mean, from the inception of Bitcoin to, Ethereum coming along, to meme coins coming along, and now, Hex, and now we're going to have our own L1. And people forget why this L1 was created as well. It was to support Hex and the gas fees initially, from how I understand it. But capital allocation is one of the most important things that people don't take serious a lot of the time, especially when you're in the lower income bracket. You're simply chucking like chunks of change, like maybe this will stick, maybe this will stick, maybe that'll stick. And I think this ecosystem, and with the amount of support that we have, and that's what I found in this community, was the amount of support and education that was brought forth, and it was given to everyone. And I know you weren't around for maybe the initial part of the stream, but Dan was talking about people charging for paid groups, this and that. But it's important for people to understand how much free information we have, and to value that, to not let it go to the side and just chuck it as, oh yeah, these guys scream all the time, they say the same thing all over. Think about those things, because at some point you're going to find yourself in a position, maybe like you, Gary, that you're in a financial position where you can make those big moves. You can do those things that you hear Rich Dad Poor Dad guy talk about all the time, like, this is what you should do with your portfolio. Like, that's not me. It's gonna be you. And I think you start training yourself now, and have that mentality, and take it seriously, even if whatever you're holding at the moment isn't worth much in USD value. It has an underlying value, which is far more powerful than that. And I think you hit it right on the head with that, for sure.
Yeah, thank you. We all, Richard says it, and he says it in kind of a sounds vanity, but it's actually very true if we get past like the emotional response. He says something like, when he's speaking and he condenses these big ideas into a relatively simple phrase, like truth engine or something along those lines. He said in the past, for an instant, we're as smart as he is. Now that sounds like an asshole kind of thing to say, but I've heard it 100 times in other forms, like, you are the average of the 5 people you spent most time with. Well, that's because you're coming up to what that average is, or you're part of the average for someone else, in that clique. So Robert Kiyosaki has explained in different conversations his how he became a billionaire. And the short story of it is that he, in the 70s, believed enough in gold that he bought gold. And then his curiosity about gold, just a few ounces, nothing major, made him curious enough to understand and kind of develop this relationship with Rich Dad versus Poor Dad. Poor Dad being his genetic father in academia, and Rich Dad being his mentor when it came to finance. That experience, that walk, that learning curve that he went through, and his natural curiosity for these mechanisms of wealth growth, committed him later, decades later, to sit down and write a book. And the book was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And that took him, he said that it took him about 6 months, basically. Sit down, a couple hours a day, write out his outline, write out his thoughts, flesh it out, and then submit it. And when he submitted it to some publishers that didn't pick it up immediately, but it later did get published in relatively small volume. You know, finance in the 80s might not have been the hot topic, I'm not sure. But basically, the real surge in book sales came from the Oprah Winfrey Show, when he went on the Oprah Winfrey Show and Book of the Month Club and all this stuff like that, her promotion. And he became kind of a national figure from that. But what I'm getting at is his gold lent him curiosity, and with his curiosity lent him a learning curve, and he invested his own time over decades to compile that information into the book, the intellectual property. And then the intellectual property did have ROI as far as book sales from the initial stuff, especially in the US market. But what he also did was he sold the rights to publish in different languages to different publishers. And I think it's now published in something like 60 different countries. And he gets basically IP money paid to him for close to 30 years now from these different publishers. Still a very popular book in all these different countries. And what did he do with the income from sale of his IP? He has valued in the past his 6 months of effort to create the IP, to create the book, to create the content. He's said on stage $50,000 is what he estimates that value to have been. Sit down, take time off from everything else, compile his information, be thoughtful about it, make it in a form that's digestible to the public, and then submit it to a publisher and get it printed. So he thinks that he invested $50,000 into that 6 month experience to create it. And yet, not just the book sales, but also the copyright payments, or whatever, I forget what you call them, but basically the license agreements between these different countries and these different publishers pays him millions and millions and millions of dollars per year for the volume that gets sold in those languages by those publishers. And when he gets income, what he has done, the most familiar thing for him, is a common friend, Ken McElroy, 22 or 23 years worth of time. Whenever Robert gets any kind of income, he effectively gives it to Ken at a 1-to-5 ratio to buy real estate. So if he earns $1 million from sale of IP that he did 30 years ago, and he earns those license agreement fees from the different publishers in different countries, or if he has speaking engagements and he has an honorarium or something like that, or television episode or whatever, when he gets money, he takes that, which could be instantly spent lifestyle kind of money, right? He could instantly spend it, but he doesn't. He instead writes a commercial loan for 20% down. So you can buy real estate for 20% down as an investor and have the bank finance 80%. And then he benefits from all of the things like depreciation and all these other stuff. Mm-hmm. And so the point is, if you buy the asset that can throw off cash flow, use the cash flow at the very minimum to finance the lifestyle or to figure out the lifestyle. Don't do it the other way around. And honestly, I'm 52. I didn't really think about those things until I was 36, 37. I was more about like life experience, do 5 years of a chapter and learn something new in a different place. Like I was always voracious with my curiosity, but I didn't really think about like money and finance really hardly at all, other than my own home or my own car, or, just the basic trappings of selling your time to a hospital. I used to work cardiology stuff. So what I'm getting at is I didn't really learn those principles until fairly recent in my life. And then now with this speculation in cryptocurrency, speculation in 2018 of 17 and 18 and other things, 18 learning about Richard, 19 being the launch, the very end of 19 being the launch of Hex as completed code, that has to me the same value with far higher return versus risk of real estate. Real estate has its benefits and its tax structure and its permissions by government and its occupancy, keeping the elements off of a tenant's head. So it has different use cases. everything above and beyond the construction cost is speculation. The value of the land, the value of the building itself, the materials inside of it, those are all speculation. We just think of it as, oh, this 3-bedroom house in a certain place is worth a certain amount. But yeah, I've learned a lot from people like Robert, like other leaders in finance, and Richard by far is one of the best examples of that top 5 I could learn from. But yeah, it's very cool that we're in the right place, I think, and it's great that we have the speculative instruments that can be volatile. It's good that they're volatile in some ways. This volatility does entice some people to participate that otherwise wouldn't. Kiyosaki has said many times that he saw Bitcoin countless times before 2017. But he was never interested. He thought it was a gaming token. And then 2017, his closer friends, kept commenting as it was going from $1,000 all the way up to $20,000. It's like, oh my gosh, you could have got it at $30 or $50 or $200, and now it's gone all the way up to 20 grand. And he certainly watched it, but he didn't participate. He said this, in person, and he only believed in this, the risk curve, the risk return, the way that many investors, especially large volume, conservative personality, long trend of being successful people, when he saw that Bitcoin had gone from 20,000 and crashed down to basically 3,000 or 4,000 when he was really asking his friends that had gone through that curve, and they'd been in crypto for many years, about like, what is the status? And his buy into Bitcoin was at $6,000 on the way back up from 3,300, right? So he's not OG. He talks a lot about silver and gold. He talks some about Bitcoin in his current content. But like, what I'm getting at is, you see the same things that he saw as indicators. It just has a different meme to it. Hex is just a different logo that has a yield return, has a T-share, it has all these mechanisms built into it to reinforce aligning incentive for stakers and liquid holders and all these different chart things too. And so does PulseChain, and so does PulseX, and so does how they can potentially synergize with each other. So like, these are very interesting times in speculation. These are all speculation, but they're becoming more predictable, I think, as I go through this journey myself.
Yeah.
Long ones.
That was good.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
But I think you guys are about, I don't know if you're about to close out, but I just wanted to jump on because I had seen Allan's content and was listening intently to it, and I want to pop on it. Just got a few minutes.
Humble D was throwing fire earlier. I appreciate that.
Yeah, good fire. What was a good fire? I'll have to listen to the replay.
He's shaking his head.
I just soak up whenever Gary's talking. I just soak it in, So
yeah,
that's all good. So I'm going to, if you didn't catch it earlier, tomorrow I'll be going myself, Walrus. What is he? Official. Also, Crypto Heartbeat, Matt, plus Westcott Crypto, plus Bobby, who made the Cuatro Cinco News, if you guys watched that content in the past. But we're all going to be at Consensus in Austin for the coming week. So if there's someone that's at Consensus for that week, then DM on Twitter, and maybe we can make a connection.
Beautiful. Yeah, I wish I could go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was supposed to be in Texas for a family reunion.
Okay.
Yeah, and when is this happening this week?
Yeah, so I think it's the 26th to the 28th officially,
Okay.
but there's some things that are like, I won't see much of the 26th. What is today? Today's the 24th?
24th.
Oh, maybe I'll see some. Yeah, so I arrive, very late tomorrow, but Westcott will already be there, and the other 3 are already there now. But I'll arrive, and then I'll be there until like the 30th. So I'm hoping to meet, some of the finance people that are going to be speakers. Like Patrick McHenry is a congressman that just grilled Gary Gensler. If you saw the stuff of the Congress stuff in the past week, he's one of the grillers. And also Christopher Giancarlo was the commissioner, or I forgot, secretary, I can't remember, of the CFTC. Like about 3 or 4 years ago. He's a lot more inside of Twitter. Now he's private, but he's a speaker. William Shatner, always wanted to meet Captain Kirk, so hopefully I can. Yeah. So some good times, we hope. But and then Gary Cardone invited the many of us that are going to the to some of the stuff that he'll be doing. He's doing some different interviews, and he's very significant in finance, even though his brother is more known about real estate. He's more known about like finance and transaction businesses.
Nice. Are any of you planning to do any sort of streams from there, or interviews? Anything that you have already set up, like a scheduled thing between like Matt and Westcott, or anything like that? Is it going to be live, or are you going to pre-record it?
Yeah, I think that it's better for, we're going to take a lot of AV equipment, and we're going to do more like man in the street during the conference itself. So it's around 3,000 people that are supposed to be there, 3,000 to 4,000, I think, is what I've heard. And so we're planning to do our own captures, and we're trying to have it as best high quality we can. I did have a meeting a week ago or so with Petrobet David and Adam Stosnick from the Valuetainment people. And between them and potentially Prager University and some other entities, we want to create a pilot, and the pilot would be a pitch. It's basically a pilot to submit to these different networks to see if they want to add DeFi crypto or DeFi to their like repertoire, what they comment on. They're mostly finance channels. They're mostly like business and entrepreneurism kinds of channels. Prager is a little bit more about politics, but they have reached out to ask for crypto specific content. So we're going to try and capture as much of that as we can. So it'll be mostly that we're most keen to meet and engage and capture on film commentary from the regulators. There's going to be a lot of regulators that are speakers at the event, and some of the larger cap businesses building around central exchanges, to get participation with PulseX and PulseChain L1 as well. So I don't think we're going to do I don't know of anything planned to say we're going to do a live stream from the event. We may do some kind of conclusion kind of content to say what happened, but really our goal is to meet new people and then tell you guys about who we met and how they can engage the community more than just stream live from the event.
Nice.
That's
awesome.
a good onboarding crew. Matt, you, Westcott, should be fun.
Yeah, we'll see but we won't get stuck.
Yeah.
The last day we'll see if we can get tipsy in Austin, but it'll be fun.
Nice. Gary, I've never had the opportunity to speak to you, and it's a pleasure. I did have one question for you, and I don't know if it's within your in your sort of field of view. Have you ever heard of a streaming company or Redacted?
Is it like a or something?
Yeah, no, they do the news. It's a, I mean, they have a decent amount of viewers, so I'll tap in there. So they just do the news. It's I think Clayton and I forget Natalie, I forget their last names, but they solidly have anywhere between 25 to like 40,000 people watching on a daily basis live. I believe they're based out of the UK, but they're clearly American. And the only reason I bring it up is since you're within Richard's inner circle and perhaps some timing in the future after PulseChain launch, they had a gentleman who just made me cringe talking about Bitcoin, not necessarily because he was talking about Bitcoin, just the amount of terrible information about what cryptocurrency is and what you should and not be doing. But they're clearly open to having those sort of discussions. And I don't know how far you reach and interest.
Yeah.
It's carbon.
Do you know them directly, or how do you
No,
mean?
no way. I'm a tadpole. Like, no, I'm just loud. I'm just really loud about a lot of things. That's all it really comes down to. I haven't even cracked 1,000 people on Twitter. So, but I'm just throwing things out there since, you know, I'm sure you're a lot of the times whoever comes into contact with the people closest to Richard are looking for, you know, some of those exposures, perhaps something with that many eyes and the willingness to open, and they're fairly open to cryptocurrency. It sounds like, but they're a news show in a sense, and they're independent reporters, which is something that is really catching on, and we need more of. But since they had that guy on, I figured why not bring the best guy on? You know, just throwing it out there in the event that it's, you know, within your field of view.
Yeah, so it can DM me so that I will remember, and I'll look up if they have a Twitter or something like that. But I'll say this as a general. A general is the people that are public figureheads in the Hex community. Richard, I'm sure, has gotten thousands of DMs that say you should talk to this person. You know, same thing with Crypto Coffee, myself, and others, right? And that's useful because at least we can, you know, look at their content. But like, the better and the best referral is a personal referral, first degree, that kind of thing.
Right.
And you would be surprised, you know, if Kevin Bacon is 6 degrees of separation from everybody, you'd be surprised. If it's not you directly, you probably know someone that knows a direct bridge with the person redacted you just talked about. That's my
right. Yeah. I had zero connections with them. But again, if that's something that's worth pursuing.
You think, but you're not sure because
I'm not sure, right?
You mentioned it to 250 people
right.
that are in your inner circle and found the common bridge. That's all I'm commenting on. And if nothing else, then one of the better things, and we've done it to a degree, all Hexicans have, where we, you know, chime in on a tweet or on a YouTube stream or social media platform engagement and say to some other host, you should talk to Richard Hart. You should talk to Richard Hart. That is edification, right? You should have Richard Hart on your show. And edification is really something that people they can even look it up on Wikipedia, but basically just look on YouTube for Dale Carnegie, that key phrase, and the word edification. And you would be amazed at like the power of influence that edification has. So if I guarantee you that if Einstein was only saying smart things about math to the general public, he would never have been known as Einstein because most people couldn't understand what he had to say. And the edification of Einstein came from peers talking about Einstein based on the merits and information they were bringing, that he was bringing to them for free, right? So it's the same sort of thing. So when I try to get people engaged with Richard Hart or any of the other Hex people that I truly, you know about and can talk about, I always have to add in a particular merit that is different from others. So when I talk about Matt from Crypto Heartbeat, he's got a diplomacy. He deals with his philanthropy for 20-something years. You know, billions and billions of dollars have gone through his efforts prior to cryptocurrency stuff. I talk about like the things that I am not, but I think that he is, right? So I'm highlighting the differences in a positive way. And same thing with others. You could talk about Crypto Coffee or Hexologist. You know, Hexologist, the most affable, nice guy to talk about crypto in this community. But he's also like he's a little goofy with his presentation sometimes, and that makes him so lovable. Like there's things I want to highlight about every individual person that is nuanced and different, and that's part of edification. You know, so that's really helpful for us to learn as a community is what is edification, what things can I do to basically break through a little bit of the shielding that all people on social media have or they will have with a little bit of experience, you know, they get hardened because they read comments, and some of those comments are terrible, and they get, you know, they get a little bit insulated over the anonymous, you know, making some commentary, whether it's positive or negative about them, right? So these are things that we learn, and that's one of the reasons we're going in person to Consensus, is to be more of the human element in person there instead of only streams.
Right.
But anyways, I did need to jump off. I just want to be here for just a bit. I really appreciate you guys doing the stream, putting this out here. I know it's a big effort to get people together and you know, build audience and things like that. But you know, keep it up. I think it's really worthwhile what you guys are doing.
Excellent. Good job,
Yeah.
Dan.
Thanks for joining
Thank
us.
you. Thanks for jumping
you.
on from the gym, and thanks for all you do for the community, man.
Yeah.
We all appreciate it. Keep onboarding. Let's go. But yeah, that was fun. We got a little serious for the show, but yeah.
Yeah.
When he
we're-
starts
yeah,
talking,
let's not show anymore.
he's on another level. So I don't even know what to say. You know, he's too professional for me.
Bye, Pepe. Bye, Pepe.
Yeah, sí. A mí me gusta.
Yeah, boys. I gotta hang the hat too. I don't know if you
All
guys
right,
gonna
let's
keep
call
going.
it. Let's call it.
Humble
Me
D.
too.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Humble D. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for
Allan.
inviting me.
Of course, man.
course.
Anytime.
Really appreciate
But yeah, let me do the outro.
Thanks, chat.
Yeah, shout out Hex All Day Twitter Spaces. You can find me there.
Me too.
Where's this outro thing? There it is. Here we go. Peace out.
Peace.
Later, all.
Peace.
It's not working.
Oh no.
What are you, some sort of Mexican?